Good evening everybody, welcome to PSGL Season 23 F2 Round 3 here in Catalonia for the Spanish Grand Prix. You might have noticed we may have got the stream on slightly earlier than we normally do, which is good because it means we're not going to have all our viewers stolen from us in the end by F1, which is nice. So yeah, I'm your commentator on Wyatt. As you can see, we've got plenty of people on track getting ready to go. By the looks of it, we're going to be qualifying on the softs. I don't know, we'll wait and see. It just seems quite likely considering the fact that people are already out on track on the softs. Normally if they're going to be doing it like that, then they'll be doing 4 runs on them. It's a relatively short track as well here, so it is possible to get 4 runs in, I'd imagine. But yeah, we'll see what these guys do with the strategies. Now I've got to figure out if I'm actually live properly, as usual, just making sure it's all working. Let me know if it's all on and good and everyone's able to hear me on the stream okay. Got a like already, so it must mean that everything's working well, because that's obviously how this thing works. Anyway, Greeny LFC was the first person I found on a lap on the softs, so we will watch him come across the line. Expect something like 116, 117, so it looks like he's backing off towards the line, so maybe it won't be a soft qualifying lap. We'll have to wait and see. We will just have to wait and see. Oh, look at that, PSGL F1 is retweeting the stuff for F2. That means we're going to get millions of views, people. J Fletcher goes fastest on the hard compound tyre. Expect quick times obviously later on. Maybe from this guy here, Tom, who's in the Mercedes, his teammate Cliffy. People keep wanting him out, but I think it's Amir actually who's decided to take the plunge to F1, I think, because well, he's obviously not here and I think he's racing in F1, so if he is gone forever, then congratulations I guess, as Will, championship favourite obviously, has gone fastest. I wonder how long it'll take for this joke to get boring. Probably won't take too long. And we got Honest, you got Big C, and you got Nick in the chat. Hello everybody, welcome along. And that goes for everyone as well. Hello, and do feel free to be active in the chat. I'll certainly be reading it for qualifying and probably the race as well. It's a 33 lap race round here, and well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. DRS doesn't work here, so I may end up looking at the chat a lot to see what people are thinking about this, because DRS, I don't know, on F1 2018, DRS just wasn't effective at all in that big long straight, and it created quite big trains but not much movement in them, so I wonder what these guys will be doing about that. I'm sure they're prepared for it, but we'll wait and see what they'll do. Anyway, we're watching Mark Espy, the Soul Haas today, trying to wave the flag for the American team while also trying not to crash into his teammate, who isn't here, luckily. But still, this is Haas we're talking about. They'll probably still manage to do it. Nick says, 1 hour to race in F1. Well, this is where you get to cheat and have a look at all your strategies and all that. I tried to ask these people what they were going to do on strategy. Didn't tell me what they were going to do. So I haven't a clue if it's going to be soft to hard or medium to hard. Or maybe even hard to soft or hard to medium, depending on where you qualify. I guess you've got 18 people here, so there'll certainly be plenty of variation, I'd imagine. I don't think anyone's going to be stupid enough to try a 2-stop. It just does not work ever on any track in the world, ever. It's just never worked from anything I've been able to see. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but unless you get rain or something, then the 2-stop just isn't going to work. But Mark to the line, it goes fastest into the 1 minute 18, so maybe we'll be 1 minute 16 on sauce, possibly actually. You just never know. Here is CC Brain in the McLaren Renault. Still a very beautiful car, but the husky chocolate on the back, I must say, completely ruins it. I mean, look at that, you've stuck red on there. Why? Oh, that's a big sideways moment there for CC Brain. It is difficult to get the power on there out of turn 4. Even if you think you've got it, you think, okay, I can put the power down now. It's quite easy to actually spin off there, and it surprises me. I've been doing my TT last round there, of course, practicing for various different leagues and races and all that, because I'm honestly trying to win some titles for once in my life. And this track is a complete nightmare. I hate it. It's just, I'm quick on it, but it just does not feel good. And yeah, I can understand these guys' struggles, but certainly looks like a lot of people now are finishing laps, or maybe just abandoning laps to go into the pit lane, or doing what Maxi Luke is doing and getting an absolute tank slapper on through turn 2. I don't care if Husky Chocolate's nice, it ruins the McLaren livery. It could be the nicest chocolate in the world, Nick, but it looks horrible. Put it on a Ferrari or something, at least it would fit. It may not, well, actually it wouldn't really. I mean, it doesn't fit on anything, let's be honest. It's a chocolate brand in F1. I've never seen it before. That just doesn't work. I mean, they have Coca-Cola on the McLaren. Look, it's there, they'd have to make that red, so come on, people. Would it really have affected Husky Chocolate that much? Will Murdoch, championship favourite, is in the chat, so he's clearly not focused too much on this. He's, I assume, waiting for a while to go out on mediums? Can someone tell me what's going to happen? Please? Because I don't know the strategy. It'd be very useful to know what the strategy is, so I don't sit here expecting people to go out and sauce in a minute. Dry all race, that's slightly useful. Medium to hard. Okay, cheers, Will. Okay, then that is the strategy. That's sort of what we were thinking. Once again, the F1 2019, for some reason in this game, just doesn't know how to do strategy. Like, this is the same on F1 2018. Why are we qualifying on the middle compound? Why on earth is that actually a thing? I don't know why people aren't complaining about this more. It's just qualifying. You're meant to be doing your best lap as Maxi Luke retires. Something's gone wrong there for him. But then why aren't we qualifying on the fastest tyres? Like, why aren't we qualifying on softs? Why is it a severe disadvantage to do that on most tracks? It does not make any sense, does it? It just... oh dear. Well, with that logic, this could be the pole position lap, or at least Ski Van's attempt at pole position here on the mediums. We're already halfway through the session, so it is time to start getting the fast laps in. I don't think it's a tyre attempts issue. I think it's just the tyres. They just wear too much, and that's Ski Van off the track once again. That turn 4, catching another driver out. It is a difficult one to get perfect, but if you do get it right, it feels very nice. But if you don't, you're absolutely going to be throwing something out the window. There's Cliffy going incredibly slowly. That's useful. Traffic is probably quite a big problem right here as well, I can imagine, because it is quite a small track. And yeah, as Onyx is saying, that it is much worse. F1 2018 was much worse on the tyres and all that. I couldn't handle the tyres at all, personally, in F1 2018. Here I can handle them perfectly fine. I just don't understand why you can't qualify on softs anymore. That's the only thing that I sort of... it's weird, and we can't do much about it. It's not like it's difficult, it's just a bit confusing as to why we have to go on to mediums rather than the softs. But anyway, no point complaining about that. They're not going to fix it, are they? There's Praga starting lap. We were watching him going round. There's a few people on the mediums still going round. I don't know if Skeevan's going to pit or not. He sort of would do himself a favour to stay out because he sort of has to now. This will be doing much good for his tyres. Remember, 33 laps around here, so you've got to make the tyres last a long time. And 33 laps, to be fair, sounds like a lot, but I think you can get about 20 to 25 laps, honestly, on the hard if you really push it, and that could lead to some soft qualifiers. But even still, can you do 13 laps on softs, which is what you could have to end up doing? It's a difficult one. Right, people seem to keep not knowing this. Basically, PSGL is at 7. Well done for noticing. We're doing this so that F2 actually gets some viewers, because it's not fair that F1 keeps stealing our thunder. Even if they do steal it anyway at 8 o'clock. But point is, we're on at 7 on a Monday so that we can get views for a solid hour. Makes the CPM probably look quite good, I'd imagine. And then we, after that, F1 will be on at 8. So basically you get to see this in an F1. Because the idea is, I think this will be ending just as the F1 qualifying is sort of getting to this stage. So it means you can switch straight over when this is over. and it just works. You get both streams getting more views, and that's why we're at 7. I think, anyway. It would make sense. Anyway, skeeving to the line. Either ERS though, when he does that, look, you need to be sure, you need to be careful with the deployment. It could cost you pole, but it isn't even into the 1 minute 17s. I wonder if he's got any more in the tank. We'll have to wait and see. Still 5 minutes to go. There are other people on laps. We've got both the Renault drivers on a lap, although that's particularly slow, and that's not particularly slow. So we'll watch Glock rather than Lewis, because Lewis is, well, very slow in Lewis style, obviously, because I think we may have started a tiny rivalry, which he didn't really intend to start, me and Lewis, but now I'm constantly comparing myself to him just to make sure I'm still better than him. Anyway, Glock to the line, doesn't go fastest, but does go P2. I assume Lewis will be just gearing on to do a second lap. I think Prague is down at his time. But anyway, now we're in an open lobby. Oh, he's broke his wing. Oh dear, Lewis has broken his wing. And he's decided instead of, you know, doing something, he's going to ruin his rear tyres. You can't be doing that. Just go back carefully. Who are we asking to comment to ILR next week? Because they're a client. You do know I comment to ILR carriage. It's not like I'm going to stop doing that. Unless you're talking to someone else. But you're probably not. Don't worry. I would give you attention. But that would need... We could assassinate Cliffy if you want me to commentate on you. Or you could just get really bad and go down to ILR8. Your choice. Anyway, people are pitting now. Jay Frotcher decided he was going to tease us all with some softs. But nah, Carriage, you're going to have to go down to ILR8 because it's not really fair to kill Cliffy, is it? I mean, look at this guy. He's a good guy. You got to make sure he lives. Don't know what Will's on about there. Joachim took it away last time. Joachim isn't here now. Oh, okay. No, I do understand what he means. Yeah, I understand what he means. Yes, you probably haven't seen it, but last time Will did a league race around here, he came up against, at the time he was Ozone Joachim, now he's NLR Joachim, I think, and he lagged a lot, did the Williams driver it was at the time, Joachim, and ruined Will's race, and he was a very angry boy afterwards. It was really funny. But yeah, Will should, as the championship favourite, dominate. We haven't got any, you know, distractions. He's got no excuse now to lose. So yeah, he has to win eventually, doesn't he? Stephen in the chat, in our Twitter chat, has said a very naughty word, and I can probably understand why. I think. I don't know actually. Why has he done that? What has he done? I thought it maybe because his lap was bad, but he is still first. He may not stay first, but he's still first. Well, what's he on about? Oh, he's had an incident with Jay Frotcher. Well, luckily Jay Frotcher probably wasn't doing his final lap, whatever happened, so I think he may get away. Anyway, I'm watching CC Brain with 2.5 minutes to go, because we are about to watch him start a lap. And preparing himself to go up from 15th, possibly up 14 positions. That'll be his main goal, I'd imagine. He wants to get into the 1 minute 17s, and let's see how he does it. Let's ride on board. I haven't ridden on board with anyone for a lap yet. So down towards turn 1. Want to be getting as wide as possible onto that curb and then swinging and hitting the apex. Not too tight because it could unsettle the car. That seemed relatively good. Sometimes you can rev the 5th gear through there to keep it flat out, and it helps your speed there, but CC Brain hasn't done that. You can brake a lot later into there. It looks like CC Brain maybe not taking the fastest line, but staying on the track could be the way to go about it. Skeevan retires in the session having done his laps. And then up through turn 5 towards probably the most difficult corner on the track in my opinion, because it is so difficult to lose the car here. You have to be really careful, and CC Brain has cut one of those corners up there in the chicane in turn 7 and 8. Another contender for the most difficult corners, the one he's come up to now, maybe going slowly, but after this left-hander at turn 10, this is Mr. Unsettler himself, also a very difficult corner, but if you can take a wider entry into here, I know it's not a flat out lap, don't kill me, but if you don't go flat out through there, you should survive it, I think. Anyway, let's go watch someone else who's on a lap. because I want to get a full onboard lap. We'll just pick up from where CC Brain got it wrong. So through turn 5, Sam... I've noticed a few people are starting to do the double upshift thing from F1 2016 again. I personally as well have started to use it. It's really good. I think it's going back into fashion. And of course at turn 5 you can do it. Maybe even at turn 10 as well. We'll see if Samster does it. Basically what it is, you go down to first gear and then double shift out the third. He decides not to do it there. But it is something to be explored up in, because I don't think it's been explored as much as it could have been. As Samster takes it nice and easy up the hill. But yeah, certainly something that I'd expect these guys to try, and if they aren't, try it! Unless you're an ILR3, because I want to win that. Anyway, Samster through the final corner now. Hoping to go fast. It's currently P7, and it should be 17s, and it is 17s. He's on pole by a tenth of a second, only a few seconds to go. Tom, very similar first sector, but I wonder if there's anyone else further on the lap. Greeny LFC is on a lap on the softs. So is Glock on the softs. Let's see if he goes fastest. Does he think he can do the, 10, 15 laps, whatever it will need to be on the softs? Or will he put the brakes on at the line? Let's see what he does. Derating, but crossing the line. He's on pole at the moment, but there is, as I say, Greeny LFC out there too. Tom through the middle sector, miles off, as you would imagine, on those soft compound tyres. Cedar Bingo's P3. I'm just seeing Jay Fletcher's qualified 14th, even though he hasn't set a lap time, but I think he had a qualifying ban, but since so many people haven't actually done a lap, he's still 14th, as Greeny LFC gives the lap up, as Samster goes 4th, Praga 7th, Tom stays 8th, and it looks like we're going to get pole for Glock here. Cliffy 5th fastest, that laggy person who is now 8th fastest. Will Murdoch, championship favourite. He's he's struggling to get into the top 10 in a minute. He needs to find a couple more attempts in this fast sector. And we're looking at only one starter on the soft tyre in his top 10, but will stop Tom. No, he won't. Will was invalid, so Tom gets to start this race in the top 10, but on 4-lap old hards. Maybe that wasn't what he was intending to do, but we'll see if it ends up working out for him in the end. So it's Glock on pole from Mark, Jay Fletcher, Samster, Cliffy, CC Brain, Skivan, That Laggy Person, Praga, and Tom. That's your top 10. Glock on the softs and Tom on the hards. Is that a crucial mistake? And is it a crucial mistake? Well, are Tom and Glock making crucial mistakes here? Especially, as I say, Tom. And yes, that is a dead car of Jack Lacey. I don't think he's actually done that himself. He's yeah, that's not gone too well. We've got 7 Mood 54. Great name that. I'm not sure it's also a really good idea. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe Glock knows that he can keep ahead, because as I say, it is, for some reason, it is so difficult to stay ahead, to overtake on this track. And Glock may well just think, you know what, I can just hold these guys up and keep this lead. And you can. It's not easy to pass. It genuinely, it could be a real train, this. But listen, if you have to be in it to win it, and if you're first ahead of the train, then you could be the guy to win the race. So we'll see what Glock decides to do. But yeah, let me know what you all think about the strategies. Certainly would be quite interesting to see. Like I say, we have all 3 tyre compounds starting in the top 10. But anyway, shock horror, it's dry. I'm trying to think what the best race would be to have wet. Probably Canada, which is next week. Canada's always fun, but in the wet, it'd be like, oh, it'd be sick. I think that's Glock in the chat. Is that Ryan McLaughlin? Is that Glock? I'm not sure if it is or not. Do correct me if I'm wrong, but he's saying he wants some collisions behind, which would help. But as I say, if he's ahead of the train, that long main straight is a big lie. Where are you going to pass? That first chicane is so difficult. Okay, good. It is him. But yeah, I honestly, I can see him winning just by holding these guys up on the straight because it's very possible. It's not as wide as many other straights. And look at what they have to try and pass in. You have to try and pass there. It's not. It's really narrow, and then it's a proper chicane. I don't know why F1 still races here. It's one of the most anti-overtaking tracks I've ever seen. But it may well help this guy win the race. So it's Glock on pole from Mark and Jay Frotcher third. And from second down to 8, or down to 9th, they'll be on medium. So Glock's on the softs. Second, Mark, Jay Frotcher third, Samster fourth, Cliffy fifth, CC Brain sixth, Skivan, Laggy and Praga, they're on the mediums. And Tom and Greeny LC on the hards. Lorman's in 12th on mediums, last of the medium runners. And Jack, Will, Lewis, Jay Fletcher, Jack Lacey and Maxi Luca all starting on the hards. And do you know what? This is worked out quite well for Greeny LC, I reckon, as well. He's managed to get himself into 11th, which is probably the most ideal position to be in if you want to be starting on the hards. I know Tom is on it, but he's on 5-lap old tyres by the time he starts this race. And Nick is doing the classic "Is that Glock?" What we may be saying "Is that Glock?" quite a few times today, because he could be involved in quite the entertaining evening. But we're all heading through Sector 3 now. He needs to pull away primarily to get out of DRS in the early stages and just hope the rest of the guys get caught on a train. And then if his tyres die, he hopefully would be able to lead the train quite well. I've won a league race here before where the only reason I stayed ahead is because you can't pass. When I've been, 2 compounds lower, I think, than the guy behind me. He's actually my teammate now, funny enough. First time we fought each other on track, and he couldn't pass me even though he was on so much better tyres, just because you can't pass here. Glock will also get the advantage of an undercut on these tyres, and do you know what? If he doesn't come out in any major traffic, this could be quite an interesting strategy. It's all about the defensive game for him today, and it's all about the attacking game from the guys behind, as we all line up on the grid, getting ready for the start of this Spanish Grand Prix. Let me know who you think is going to win this one in the comments. It's certainly going to be an interesting one, but we're ready for some lights ahead of the drivers here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 lights ahead of the drivers. Glock on pole, on the softs. Let's see how he gets away. It's rather good off the start. It looks like Mark's had a really poor start for the first time this season. He's the only one who's leaping off the line. But Jay Frotcher's trying to pass Glock into turn 1. This is potentially crucial. They make a little bit of contact, but Glock stays ahead. And that is the perfect start for him. Looks like Mark's trying to have a little go there, but also Samster. And we've got a Ferrari off. That's Praga, and he's caused a bit of chaos there. No safety cars of yet, but we have Jack Lacey, Will Murdoch, and of course Praga himself, who caused all that. Well, it may not have been him, but he was certainly the guy spinning off, involved in all that accident. So hopefully no one's majorly damaged, but apart from that, we're seemingly clean off the line. It is Glock leading this one from Jay Frotcher, and a struggling Mark Espy, who's already got the Ferrari Samster on his tail. This early laps, by the way, it's really easy to drift off wide at turn 9, and that could lead to a simply horrifying accident if you're not careful. So look out for that as well in the early stages. Glock's got the gap out to 6/10 already. And yes, chapter favourite is last again. Shock. But yeah, Glock. Yeah, what will he do? What will he do? Round the final corner to start lap 2. On to overtake, as is everyone else, I'd imagine. Already planning some overtakes. The earlier you get these overtakes done, the less effective this train's going to be. And sadly, Greeny LRC was also one of the drivers involved. We got 4 drivers in the pit lane. And well, I'll say how good Greeny LRC's strategy was looking to possibly be. It's sort of fallen apart a bit now there, sadly. New front wing for him, and the other 4. I guess I'll be doing 2 medium stints, maybe to the end of the race. We'll wait and see what they all get up to. But back up in the leading train, we've got Glock still ahead of Jay Frotcher, Mark, Samster, CC Brain, Laggy Person, Cliffy, Skivan, Tom, Lormans, Praga, and Lewis, all in a massive DRS train. When it gets enabled on the next lap, I would not expect that train to sort of break apart too much. But yeah, we'll see how this all works out. But yeah, I'm assuming that Jay's no damage as well as Maxi Luca. They obviously came back from a little further down the grid, but they've cleared all the chaos, luckily. And so they are well and truly into this race as well. If Max can start to catch up on this DRS train, we'd be in pretty much the whole field of DRS. But here we go. Lap 3's about to start. There is Glock's doing it, and he's almost got out of the DRS range of Jay Frotcher. This could be crucial, this lap, for the whole race result. The further ahead he gets at the start, the more pressure Jay Frotcher will be under from Mark Espy, and the more the Glock will even be able to pull away. On top of all that, he should have the grip on the exits of the corners, especially in the middle sector, and the final sector up the hill, of course. So Jay Frotcher should be out of DRS by the end of this lap, but you never know. We'll wait and see how it all pans out. Looks like we've actually got some bigger gaps starting to form. CC Brain is just about staying in DRS though, so we'll keep an eye and see how long he can stay in there. Greeny LSC in the pits again. I wonder if his front wing has been broken again, or if he's just going to retire or something. But Jay Frotcher, does he get that DRS? The rear wing does not open. Glock went defensive, didn't need to in the end. He has got the gap out, so it's about Mark Espy then, trying to catch up and pass the guy that overtook him on the start. Like I say, Mark Espy for once not having one of his lightning starts. He's normally pretty good off the line. We saw it in the pre-season at Bahrain, and I'm pretty sure the first 2 years of the season as well. He's always been a bit of a rocket, but for once it went wrong, and well, we'll see if it affects him. Jay Frotcher will get DRS, but he's just about within the range to go for a move. It's not really too likely, and an ERS, by the way, they're all burning it rather quickly. That could also be a big factor, especially since Jay Frotcher used the most out of any of the top 3. He's already down pretty low on this. And while he gains half a second on the DRS straight, as you see side by side there, Skivan and Cliffy. Good fighting between those two. Sadly didn't see the whole of it, but Cliffy staying ahead of Skivan. And Tom also trying to get involved. Remember, he is on, what, 7-lap old tyres now? I know it says 3 on the screen, but they are not including qualifying laps, and they do put wear on the tyres. So you really got to be wary of that one. He really needs to hope he can keep the tyres well. Back up near the top, on board with Mark Espy, trying to catch up. But it just doesn't happen. This straight is just nowhere near long enough unless there's a mistake made beforehand to go for moves. Samster and CC Brain out of DRS, so is Cliffy from that laggy person, but of course you'd expect that from the fighting he was doing. And that train still goes from Cliffy all the way down to Lewis. So still plenty nice enough there. But certainly the top 3 seem to be breaking away off into their own race. And we should be watching intently. Mark himself is setting the fastest lap of the race, so is Glock's tyres already starting to go a bit as that laggy person gets right up on the back, and down the inside of CC Brain he goes, as Glock already 3-second time penalty. Only on lap 5 he's really pushing, but it's not working at all for him. But this is where the train mentality has to start. He probably didn't, I didn't think a penalty would go into it, but there you go, he's already managed to get one. He's now got to hold these guys up a lot, and it is possible to do so. It's very like Bahrain, this track. You'd think with Le Mans Straight it would be possible to overtake, but it's not. It doesn't happen for some reason. I had a league race yesterday. I had to fend off somebody for 10 laps in Bahrain, and they just can't pass, despite the fact that the straight is very long. It's very similar to this. As you can see, Mark and Jay Frotcher are both close to overtakes, but nothing happening there. We're looking to turn 1 again though. Samster as well is starting to close again. Hopefully we're not going to get any of the disconnects that we had last week that would cost any drivers. I mean, maybe it's a good thing that Amir's not here. He's had the most unlucky start to his season. And well, his teammate is the guy that picked the pieces up last time, I think. Let's see how he gets on against 2 cars ahead. Oh, so this is good for Jay Frotcher as well. Him and Cliffy were rather close in the championship, and at the minute Jay Frotcher well in contention to be first in the championship by the end of this one, by a few points as well, because Cliffy's now behind Skivan, as you can see there in the background. And that's a bit wide there, but close to comfort there to the rumble strip was Mark Espy. We had some fighting there between Lewis and Praga, the Ferrari falling behind the Renault. And Jay Fletcher, I think, is still the last of the sort of cars in contention right now, as Praga leaves the session, so he's had an issue. Might be why he was overtaken in the first place. I guess we'll find out in a moment when he says something in the chat or something. But currently ghosted. Hopefully he's got extra invites. I mean, well, actually no, he wouldn't have extra invites. He's a lobby host. You can't invite yourself. Ah, that's a major yikes. That's a flaw in the system there. Major flaw in the system. Jay getting close to the back there of Maxi Luca, but not going for it. But here we go. This is where we see the holding up game I was talking about. And all that Glock can do was hope to hold those guys back before he got to the pit lane. So he hasn't gone nearly as far as he hoped. Can he get the tyres to the end of the race though? And has him holding these guys up for so long maybe produced a battle? No. Because I think Jay Fletcher at DRS as well. But it's a two-stop strategy for Glock. He's on to mediums, and I would assume probably mediums again at the end. So I said you wouldn't work on a two-stop, and well, I'm still going to stand by that. I don't think this works. I just don't think this is going to work at all. But do you know what? He's in a bit of clean air. He's got about 10 seconds till he reaches another actual car. Maybe, just maybe. You just have to wait and see. It's not really about this stint. It's more about the final stint. Because he'll be against, in his final stint, the whole time against people on the hards rather than people on mediums. Good mediums that are still working. Let's go back up to the top three. Samster, thanks to Glock's sort of holding up game, has got himself into this now. He was out of DRS not too long ago, and he's right up there now. And by the way, it looks like this train has now moved forward up to CC Brain being the head of the train for P5. We'll see how he manages to defend this. But let's see. Yellow flags as Greeny LFC retires unfortunately from the session. But here is DRS from Mark Espy. Down the long front straight. He's, I think, ideally going to want to be like 4 tenths behind out to the final corner to actually get the move done. Look out for McLaren. There he is, losing on the exit of turn 2 by the looks of it. And Skivan is ahead of CC Brain through turn 1 and 2. So you can overtake here, and Skivan is the one who's making the move so far today. And looks like Cliffy got a bit wide. Was Tom got an opportunity? No, he's not. Not much drama so far. We've got Glock trying to two-stop though. Look out for him. That was KRR81. That's that in the chat, by the way. And yeah, look out for Glock on a two-stop. We've had a bit of chaos in lap 1 with the back markers having some collisions. So there's one person out, one person DC'd who's Praga, and you got Jack Will and Jack Lacey at the back. They were all involved at the start, and I assume they're doing two stops as well as Jack Lacey ends his suffering. We've also got a fight for the lead, so we shall wait and see how that one pans out, because obviously Glock will be in free air. It's already closed 2 seconds after Jay Fletcher. Maybe, just maybe, it can work. I said it needed to be about 4 tenths out of the final corner to go for a move. This is nearly 6 tenths, and well, expect him to get within 2 tenths, I guess, if my calculations are going to be correct. It'll do. It's close enough. Yellow sector 3, that could be in that big pack of cars. I don't think it is though. It is Jack. TTG Jack, who's off the racetrack. Will may catch him as a result of that, although he is on the soft, so he'll pit a lot earlier. And he's went 6 laps on us already, more than Glock did. But Glock, he had set the fastest lap. How far does he have to lead? He'll be well ahead, but it's just about whether he can make it work. As I say, I think that the two-stop isn't going to work. I could be very wrong though, I don't know. TTG Jack retires. Let me know if you think the two-stop will work. I think I said in qualifying you'd be an idiot to go for it, but I just don't know. It looks like Glock could make it work, especially with all this traffic. He'd probably just bypass, but we'll see how he gets on. Ideally he'll catch up to all this, then they'll pit. Unless you're in a hard tyre, but then again, you'll probably be passing those with ease anyway, or if not, just pitting. Ideally, he's going to want to be on the back of the hard runners, because he'll be pitting at the same time as them. He has to be ahead of Tom, pretty much. Or maybe more Lewis, because Tom is on worn tyres going into this race. So I think ideally, Glock's going to be ahead of Lewis to make this strategy work. because they're both going to be all pitting for mediums later on. Anyway, we've got 22 viewers here. Hello, peoples. Good to see you're all here. We've only got 23 minutes though to enjoy this. Race will last about another half an hour, I'd say. So, I'm going to warn you all now while you're still here. You don't have to switch over to F1 as soon as it starts, because it'll be the boring start to qualifying. Go over to F1 once this is over, because then you'll be able to catch the last sort of 10 to 5 minutes of qualifying. And then that means we all get views, means we're all happy, and it means I'm not depressed at the end of the stream when I find there's only 2 people left when the flag drops. Okay, good pep talk over. Besides, all the F1 drivers are here anyway, actually, so we'll probably just lose them. But apart from that, that's probably all our viewers, though. They're probably all here just to have a look on the strategy. Oh, that's sort of... Alright, 4/10 is the gap. I said he'd need this to pass. Time to try and prove my theory right. Even though he's got low ERS, does Mark SB go for this? Jay Frotcher defends to the inside, but Mark round the outside into turn 1 for the lead of this race. A bit of wheel binding and a little bit of a cut at turn 2. And Mark SB cannot get the move done, but he certainly gave it a good go. He's nearly out of ERS, so is Jay Frotcher. Could Samster be looking more powerful here in these closing stages of the first stint of this race, as Jay Frotcher struggles, as Mark struggles, as Samster thrives potentially on this? Looks like Cliffy's made a stop, going for the undercut, and obviously going to the end on those hard compound tyres. He'll be doing 23 laps on those, which is very much possible. And you know what, Warren in there in the chat, absolutely right. They're saying that these guys fighting is going to absolutely help Glock, depending on how his race actually pans out later on. We'll just wait and see what Glock does. Glock can only hope that he keeps those types of gaps that he's got the likes of Cliffy. Cliffy was with Tom. How far was Tom? 9 seconds. So he'll be in the lead of the race when all these guys pit. But he has to pit again, so... yeah, we'll wait and see how this one works out. But now we've got 2 cars within 4/10 of each other. Mark looking pretty good there, and so does Samster. Let's see how it works though once again. Down the main straight, Jade Frotcher's going to run out a little bit earlier. Could that just tip Mark over the edge to give him the chance? Round the outside isn't going to work. He's tried that before. He could have maybe tried a Vettel style dummy and then forced it down the inside. That sounds wrong. To take the lead, but he decided not to do that. And his pit light's on. Jay Frotcher's pit light is on. Samster's is not. So they could all be on the pit on the same lap. You just never know. What will Samster do? Will he see these 2 pit and just follow them? He knows that those 2 could potentially hold each other up, considering that Jay Frotcher, with where he is in his pit garage, the Haas could be near enough to stop Jay Frotcher leaving the pit, if you get what I mean. Listen, we'll wait and see how this all works out, but the pit stops could actually work just because of the way the game is. But let's see. Mark to the inside, has a look, but decides not to go for it. We just realised, by the way, he's got Esteban Gutierrez's number on that Haas. That's quite nice to see the number staying on that car. It's been a while, like, but it's there. Anyway, will we see the Williams into the pit? And if we do, what will the gap be to Glock? And will they be able to catch him quickly? Let's find out. Who emerges around this final corner? Mark SB and Samster emerge in the final corner. Gap is over 4/10 of a second, so it should be pretty safe for Mark to stay ahead. But Jay Frotcher on his own in the pit lane, in terms of leaders. He gets the last pit garage, so he shouldn't have to worry about anyone, you know, messing about him. So IT goes on the hard compound tires. There goes Glock. How far ahead is he going to be? He's going to be decently ahead, but he just has to keep the speed up. He has to be pulling away still, pretty much. It's not a big enough gap at the moment to keep this win on the cards. Looks like Jay and Maxi and Lewis are all still on each other, on board with the Williams driver, making contact as usual. Apparently Warren says that the softs in the last stint are so good. That could help. Maybe he'll do that, but we'll see what happens as Glock gets another penalty. That could be also as Achilles heel. I don't think I've seen a single penalty pop up for Jay Frotcher in this whole race. he could just lose it on penalties. Connor said there's little drop off on the tyres, so it won't work. Right, so anyway, let's just see how this one works out. I'm trying to figure this all out as we go. Has Jay put it in the pit wall? Where's he went? What happened? Are you alive? What happened? I don't know where he's went. Sorry, I completely missed anything that's happened there. Looks like Jay Fletcher's not being able to stay ahead of Mark Espy. Looks like his tires took a while to heat up, but on this iLab he could have a chance to get back past. So it's Mark Espy into... Is it the net lead still? We need to figure this one out. But, yes. The Haas driver, predictably, getting the overcut. As I say, the tyres just don't heat up here. And that could be crucial. Let's see. He looked quicker before, did Mark Espy, so... He may come up to Glock and then we'll see some fireworks, because Glock may well still be out for... Well, he has to be out for a while. It's only 7 laps on these tyres. It's only lap 14. So Tom then, Maxi Luca and Lewis, all on some hards. Number 13 on Lewis's car, probably not that lucky. I wonder what numbers on the rest of them. I like the numbers usually. Numbers always a good sign. Number 2 driver there is Tom. That numbers on this racing point isn't very to see, is it? Very easy to see. That's 65. Boo. No one's got number 15. That's why you're losing out. Here comes Lewis and the unlucky Renault. There's a car up ahead there, by the way. It must be Praga, who's just come out of the pit lane. I don't know if he got back into his car or not. I assume he didn't. Jay Fletcher not close enough to go for the move on Mark Espy on this lap. I'm just more focused on what Glock will do with these penalties. Will he come back at the end? And if he does, will he even be able to win just because of the amount of penalties he's got? Is that going to ruin him? I just don't know what's going to happen. It's only lap 15. So the strategy's still got plenty of time to play out. And we'll find out what happens as we head on. Very intriguing though. Let me know who you think's going to win this one. Because honestly, I haven't been this sort of clueless as to what will happen. That's why I didn't really react too much to seeing Mark Espy take the lead. I'm like, well, yeah, that happened, but what about Glock? Oh, right. So Lewis is on the back of Maxi Luca still. This is also an important fight because these guys on the hards, they will also be trying to do what Glock's doing. They're already at a major advantage to Glock because Glock isn't past them yet. Tom is, what, how many seconds is he ahead? He's about 15 seconds on penalties ahead of Glock already. Major oopsie there. I mean, could we end up looking at the likes of Tom, Maxi Luca, Lewis as the guys who are going to challenge this win at the end? Because I don't think Glock's got the pace anymore. He didn't have it in the first place, you could argue. Should he have just stayed on the one stop and just tried to hold these guys off? As I said, you need to be within 4 tenths to make the overtake. If Glock has enough power on the exit of the penultimate corner, he could theoretically fly through the final corner and have 5 tenths as you start next lap, and then you can't overtake. It's yeah, I guess hindsight's a wonderful thing, but as I say, you can't really overtake here, so maybe Glock would have just been better staying on those softs for a bit longer going on to hards, because I don't think he's going to have any chance winning this thing now. And Mark Espy is now starting to close. He's out of DRS of Jay Fletcher as well. So, yeah, not looking like it's going to work out, unfortunately, for Glock as he starts to get reeled in by the net race leaders at the moment. As I say, you're going to be more looking at this guy, and this guy to make something happen. Pit light's already on for Lewis, so that's interesting. It's way too early to pit, though, I would have thought, on these tyres. As I say, I think some of them are going to want to try 23 laps on these tyres, which is possible, certainly. But, yeah, Jay Fletcher's left. He was already out of the race, though, so it doesn't really matter for him. No real fights apart from Lewis and Maxi Luca, and then CC Brain versus his own car. And he's just about in DRS at Cliffy. Cliffy, who's probably going to be losing at the championship lead today to Jay Frotcher, who's currently on course for second for, I think, the second time this season. Well, Cliffy, well, being low for 2 races, while Jay Frotcher's only had 1, sort of a bad one. I think, basically what I'm saying, I think it's going to be Jay Frotcher leading this championship after this. We'll look at it though later on. In the next race, I'll actually have some results on the screen because I forgot to get them for this race. So I'm just sort of guessing, but I wasn't checking to see if Max Luke was doing a double up shift, but I think he was there actually. I'm very impressed. I'm gonna have to check that on the next lap. As I say, I have seen the F1 2016 double shift movement going back into fashion, and it is working quite well for the traction, especially off the slower corners where you go into them at first and then leave them in third, and it works for you. But yeah, I just noticed that on there. I thought that was quite interesting, that people are actually using this. It isn't, you know, just a me thing or pad users thing. It does seem that everyone is doing this, and so it certainly is back in fashion, because short shifting is a good method in this game for gaining speed quicker, so it does seem to play right into the hands of that. Anyway, do you know what Glock could end up doing? Glock, he's only closed by not even a second on these guys ahead. When Mark Espy, Jay Frotcher catch up, this could actually help Tom, Max Luca and Lewis massively, because if he does his holding up trick once again, it could be pretty good for for these hard runners here yet to pit. There'll be rockets at the end of this race on the fresher mediums. You want interval to leader. There's interval to leader. As I say, it's not looking awful for these hard compound runners. It's starting looking more likely for them than it is for Glock, because of the 8-second difference between them. And Tom, he had 4 laps on those tyres in qualifying, so that was expected. By the way, fastest lap is from Samster. That might well change though when these guys are, changing tyres. So Tom, mediums, he'll get those to the end hopefully. Glock now, trying to defend from Jay Frotcher. Gap isn't 4/10 of a second on the straight yet, so there's nothing really to worry about for Glock at the moment, apart from knowing his strategy's not working. Tom, where's he going to come out with? He's going to come out with his teammate in P9. And how far off the lead is he? The net lead. 12 seconds. Is it possible? We'll wait and see. Maybe more possible for these two, because they'll get a few extra laps, or a few less laps, sorry, on the mediums, which will help, because they won't fall off. They can push more on them. Here is Mark Espy, lower on ERS than Glock by quite a considerable margin. That could affect him on the main straight, trying to overtake. He's on 7 lap fresher tyres. He's on a slower compound here, but I'd imagine those mediums are pretty ruined. They can't have much longer left to live, as Maxi Luca and Lewis pit as well. Will Glock follow them? No, Glock will come back out in the net race lead, or just a full-on race lead, wouldn't he? Is he waiting for a safety car? Possibly. That is always a possibility, because we know he'll be able to hold these guys up plenty, and every lap they hold these guys up will be a lap it helps Tom and the others, as that laggy person running outside of turn 1 gets a brilliant run through turn 2 and is ahead of Soundster. That could be a podium position for the Alfa Romeo driver. And Max Luca and Lewis behind Cliffy and CC Brain as well. So that heavily advantages Tom. And now that we've got Glock holding up Mark Espy for a brief moment, 12 seconds, that really does need to start closing out for Tom. He could look good. Yellow flag. I said that it could be a safety car that would save Glock, but it's not going to happen with Will off the track. And well, he got a 3-second time buddy for that. I mean, I don't think he gave much time being spinning off, really, do you think? Is he going to also park it up now in the pits, or is he going to go for fastest lap? Well, is there even any point going for fastest lap, actually? He's going only on mediums. Another bad race then for him. just not going his way this season, unfortunately. Well, Glock stays out another lap. Tom will be liking that. I'm sure he'll be getting told that information. And not within 4 tenths. So Glock, this is what he should have been doing in the first stint. Should have been doing this. Because you can't pass. You cannot pass. Simple as. Tom fastest lap, but before that, it was Laggy person who was setting it. He has found some phenomenal pace on these hard compound tyres. Is he an outsider for the victory as well? Look out for the Alfa Romeo driver. He is now catching the top two, who are now nearly within a second combined. 1.1 overall for the top three. Laggy person certainly thinking he's got the chance now. The more laps Glock stays out, the more chance, of course. So DRS not really going to work into turn 10, and look at the dirty F at turn 9. It wouldn't have even given him the chance anyway. Skivan gets a penalty. I imagine Glock's probably pitting on this lap, but his light isn't on to pit. Maybe he's not going to. But certainly Mark Espy's now putting on more pressure than ever as CC Brain retires from the race. Glock is looking to the top left corner, hoping to see safety car pop up. He may well pit, hoping it'll pop up. Indeed he does. And is that going to pop up on the screen? I don't think it is. But look at all that holding up. What it's done for Jay Frotcher. Puts him on the back of Mark Espy. Trying to go down the inside, but there was no room. Is that his big chance gone? Should he have tried to swing it round the outside? Maybe he should have tried to do the old switcheroo. Maybe try and dummy, but it hasn't worked regardless. And look at it, this is Cliffy versus Maxi Luca. Round the outside goes to Racing Point. Nicely done into turn 1 and 2. Ahead of the championship leader. Soon to be second place, I'd imagine. And now Lewis is trying to make it 2 for 2 here. As Cliffy falls from 7th down to 9th in the next few moments. Here he goes down the inside as Cliffy gets a bit wide, leaving him the space. Maybe leaving a little bit too much of space. And right round the outside of turn 5. That's how much grip these extra tyres give. Or these tyres give extra. He can just put this car anywhere he wants, and hopefully it'll stick. Back up though to the leaders, and it looks like the sun is gone. The sun has decided it's going to say bye bye. I don't like you anymore. Goodbye. Die. So that could help Jay Frotcher maybe a little bit. You just never know. Maybe Mark will lose his line or something. But the gap is now 7 tenths of a second. Mark is a rocket through that final sector. Look at him. He's absolutely flying past. And yeah, no move this time round, unless that ERS running out for Mark really cripples him, and I think it might well do so. Does Jay Frotcher launch it up the inside? He could well have done so. Mark would have had to move out of the way, I think. So, Mark's Achilles heel, is it going to be the ERS? How much has Tom got? He hasn't got much for himself either. But he is now into the top 5. He's probably within 10 seconds of the lead. Indeed he is now within 10 seconds of this race lead. I'm going to check the penalties now of these top guys, just to be sure they don't have any penalties, because I made a mistake in the stream the other day where I accidentally called the wrong winner. No penalties for the top 2. 1 penalty and 1 warning off a second for that laggy person. A penalty for Samster as well. Tom is turning the strategy, which I thought would be really difficult, into a race-winning strategy right now. Or at least a podium strategy. How much ERS these guys saved? Mark he's not saved much. Jay Frotcher really making Mark work for this as he loses the back end, the Haas driver, up the hill. It is one of the most difficult parts of the track. And Laggy Person, Samster, Tom are all going to be hoping to see these two fighting it out in a moment, because it will help them all close up. Round the final corner. It is within 4 tenths of a second right now. And Jay Frotcher should be easily into the lead of this race in a moment, but he's not using the ERS. What on earth are you doing that for? Or in this case, what on earth are you not doing that for? Mark was out. All you had to do was pass him, and he didn't do it for some reason. Is he maybe trying to make sure that he's got enough to get by and then pull away afterwards? He's been on 0 for ages now. It could help him actually. He may feel that he needs it with the likes of Tom catching up quite quickly. Only 5 laps old these tyres, they're still looking in rather tip-top shape. And under 9 seconds now is the gap at the top. any form of safety car now, by the way, and I imagine every single person's into the pits, but a laggy person gets another penalty, so surely Tom is a shooting for P3 now, but it's all about whether these guys do anything stupid to take each other out or get penalties themselves. Has Tom actually got a penalty? That would also be quite important. He hasn't even got a warning, has he? Oh, he's got 2 warnings. He needs to be careful on that one. Cat could derail his strategy. Same with these guys. If they get another warning, Mark Espy, if he gets another warning, he's going to derail his whole race. Jay Frotcher, I think if he gets 2 more, he'll derail his race. Mark has saved more ERS than Jay Frotcher now on that lap. Means he can use it more on the main straight. Jay Frotcher, come on, he has to get him now. He may have lost a chance on the last lap. He has to try now. He may have realised that that was a mistake, and I don't know why he didn't just go for it on the last lap. He would have breezed by. You can still save ERS when you're ahead. If anyone was listening to what I was saying, you can pass and hold up like hell because you don't need to worry about getting a big gap. So is that a potential race losing mistake for Jay Frotcher not going for the move on lap 24? Will we look back on that as the moment that the race slipped between his fingers? Let's see the penalties again. It says 2 warnings to Jay Frotcher on lap 1. One of them was maybe a collision or something. But I guess they're both 1 warning away from a penalty. Look out for that. Jay Frotcher now is in DRS again, but not really going out into turn 10 as CC Brain leads and Maxi Luca gets a penalty. Up to P7, by the way, Maxi Luca. So the strategy really is working quite well for the medium runners. It has to be said. We've got Sandra and Nick having a lovely conversation. They're beating out Lenny when he sees me in the stream. Right, Jay Frotcher, here we go again. Cue the meme. I can't say it all though because I'll get demonetised, or we'll get demonetised. Not that we get monetised in the first place. Anyway, Jay Frotcher to turn 1. Will he dummy? Or will he just drive straight past? Into the lead. Mark Espy tries to hold it on the inside. Look out for any contact from these guys. Any little tiny tap could ruin their whole race. Through turn 3 they go, and the Williams is back into the lead of this race. And Mark's brave defence of the lead, which you could argue maybe should have ended 2 laps ago, finally does come to an end. But we've got Will ahead. Will could play a crucial part here, because they will catch him, I'd imagine. Could they hold him up? Will Mark be able to get back past? Let's wait and see. Tom's gap doesn't look like it's closing massively, but it is. Oh, he's got a penalty. Oh dear, Tom. For God's sake, Tom. Okay, so Tom blows his chance of 2nd place for now, but he should still be on for 4th. Or, sorry, 3rd place, but should still be on for 4th. If these guys get another penalty, though, if these guys get their first penalties, then they'll be back in it. But Tom, oh, he should have just not got a penalty. Because I was hyping his strategy up, but he got a penalty. These guys, 2 guys in this top 5, they haven't got a penalty yet. Maybe they'll start getting penalties, and then they could maybe even it all out. But 4/10 is the gap. We know the magic number, 4/10. Let's see. Mark Espy down to turn 1. He didn't have as much ERS as Jay Frotcher, but he may still have the run. Bit of lag though. That could stop the move happening, but he'll still try it around the outside of turn 1. Nearly contact there. And so nearly a collision that would have taken them out of the race. Or at least out of the chance to win. We've only got a handful else to go. We've only got 7 to go here. So we have not got long to try and work this out between these 2. And they need to sort something out as Jay Frotcher and Mark, they get closer to each other on the ARS there. So it's sort of starting to even itself out a bit. Looks like Mark could be starting to regain the advantage a bit here. Tom should be not really closing much anymore, I'd imagine, on those tyres. He needs to hope Samster gets another penalty to get on that podium. Let's see how close Samster is to getting that penalty. Not particularly close. He needs 2 more warnings. You know what I keep forgetting to do? I keep forgetting to check if they're double shifting. Should have been doing that, sorry. I know it. Oh, I'm only doing it for my own entertainment to see if they're actually doing it, but yeah. Anyway, into the final corner. Gap 5/10 of a second. Not as magic as it could be, but still maybe a chance as they blast down the main straight. Fuel could also be playing a factor into this. We don't really know what these guys have got in terms of their fuel load, but yeah, not close up into turn 1, but maybe too close on the braking, and that may cost Mark the race. That just going a bit too deep there could make him fall. But then again, he's not on that much dirty air, so he might just catch it back up again. And like I say, they are starting to catch Will as Max Luca gets another penalty. That P7 he's earned could end up slipping through his fingers because he keeps getting penalties, you know. That would be awkward, wouldn't it? Jay Frotcher's still got more ERS than Mark Espy, but it is, you have to say, rapidly getting less and less. I should probably start to advertise not leaving this stream yet, because as you can see, it's only 2 minutes past 8. I don't even know if F1 started yet, but if it hasn't, that's a good sign actually, because you've got 5 laps left here, and you're not going to miss the end of qualifying for F1, so please do stay here. We're in for a pretty interesting finish to this race here. It could really be anyone's if these two really fight too hard. Mark low on fuel. You saw the warning come up. You have no idea what Jay Frotcher's on, because it won't tell me. Gap is nowhere near the magic 4/10 here. It is only half a second, and then up to 6/10 of a second. But down to turn 1, there's always still the chance. You never know if Jay Frotcher gets his braking wrong. I know Mark seemingly could brake a bit later. That's why he may be keeping in this one. But 3/10 of a second is the gap at the front, with only 5 laps to go. Tom not really closing much anymore. Still probably hoping for Samson to get a penalty. Q10 people leave the stream. Ha 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 ha. Funny. You get the sarcasm there. It's not funny. It's not fair. ERS equal. They're equal. In fact, Mark is now getting ahead on the ERS, so that the tables are really turning here at the end of this race. But Mark is really low on fuel. He's got 0.1 on the fuel gauge. He just got no idea what Jay Frotcher's got. I don't know. Wish we could be told these little things that are incredibly important to knowing what the hell's going to go on at the end of this race. Will Murdoch, championship favourites ahead, about to get lapped. And this could be crucial to Jay Frotcher's success today, if he gets close up at the right time. Jay Frotcher got onto the 4 ERS earlier there than Mark. That could help him into the first corner to not get overtaken, and indeed it does. Only 4 to go. Tom starting to close on Samster, and you know what, he may actually have to pass him, genuinely have to pass him, because at the minute he's only going to finish 4th when he really should be finishing 3rd on this strategy. And well, we saw that when Glock got in Mark's way. It really closed Jay Frotcher up to the back of him, and he's already on the back of Jay Frotcher as Mark SB, and they're going to catch Will potentially in the final sector of the lap. This could get really interesting very soon here. Could Will be the deciding factor in this race? I don't think he was expecting that going into today. I don't think anyone was expecting that going into today, but you know what? It could well be that way. He's now getting the blue flags. He's got the blue panels on the sides of the track for him. You can see them as well. There they are. And I'm imagining they're going to be waving as well, those blue flags. Jay Frotcher, however, will get DRS. That could help. But you know what? If he gets caught in dirty air, it wouldn't help too much. So the magic 4/10 may not even be enough here for Mark Espy. Let's have a look, because Jay Frotcher's going to get a cracking slipstream here. Oh, he won't actually. But he still gets a DRS, which is probably more than enough. As well, well, yeah, I said he could be the deciding factor. He's just given Jay Frotcher a massive speed boost down the main straight. Gap though, still half a second, and Tom has closed this gap down rapidly for the podium spot. Round the outside he goes. He may even end up passing that likely person genuinely on the track. Just to check the penalties again, Tom has got 1 and no warnings after. That laggy person has got 2 and 2 warnings after that. So it's looking good for Tom here to get an unexpected podium here. And once again, you just never know what will happen between these two at the top. It could still be a surprise winner today. And it'd be especially impressive already from Tom, and I'm already sort of considering him for driver today, just because he got what looked like a rather unfortunate situation in qualifying. I thought originally on the hards, but you know what, he was the highest qualifier on the hards. He started on them, he's made it work, and he's on for a podium now. I may even say, like I say, get it on track genuinely, which would be even more impressive than having to rely on penalties. But these are the guys that matter right now for the lead of the race. Mark on the back of Jay Frotcher. Gap 4/10 of a second. We're in that magic zone again. Here we go. 2 to go here in Spain. And look at the closing speed. Mark, does he go up the inside? He tries it, but that was a very late defence from Jay Frotcher that just cut him off. And Mark has to wait another lap. And you know what? He only has one more lap to get this done. It is really going to be all or nothing in these next couple of moments here for Mark. Does he fancy it into turn 4? He does not go for it there. Although, honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if he does. Sam's just standing on the back of Tom. Could still go wrong for the Mercedes in P4 at the moment. Still 4/10 is the gap, but as you can see, Jay Frotcher seemingly on distraction has got more to do there. He's well, he's actually on one up older tyres as Jay Frotcher. You usually expect Mark to have that little bit extra at the very end of the race, but potentially not. Skivan on his teammate, they're pretty close as well. We will keep an eye on them at the end, but this is seriously getting to it now. If it's going to happen for these two, or Mark SB in particular, it's going to happen in the next DRS straight. Not the final one down to turn 10. This one down to turn 1. Mark will be putting his ARS up a little bit later, but Jay Frotcher had a really big slide through the penultimate corner. Onto the main straight he goes. Has he got anything to defend with as Mark goes past into the lead on the final lap? What does Jay Frotcher do about this? He's now behind. On the one lap, you really need to be ahead. And he is in trouble as Samster getting by Tom as well for the podium. And they make some contact. And that could all really end in tears. It's all kicking off on the final lap. Jay Frotcher, I said he may not actually end up needing this turn 10 DRS. Do you know what? He might well end up sending one up the inside there. He may have no choice. Could we be seeing Sam Stern for the win here today? You just don't know. These two could end up in a pile of their own carbon fibre and wheels and fuel and all sorts, because Jay Frotcher has literally got one more chance to win this race, and it's right here. He has been the better guy in the race, in the lead anyway, but he just hasn't got enough ERS, and he's not gonna get him unless Mark makes another mistake similar to what Jay Frotcher did in the last lap. It's looking pretty good for Mark Espy now to take this win. A rather unexpected win, you could say. He had a bad start for once this season, but down the inside, Jay Frotcher tries to scare him. It's not going to work as Mark Espy comes around the final corner. He had to work for it. He got it on the final lap as he comes to the line to take victory here with Jay Frotcher P2. That laggy person is going to finish P4 with Samster in P3. Tom will get 50 penalties anyway. And, yeah. Skiban 6th, Lewis 7th, Max Aluka 8th at the moment. Will Glock get him? Nah, Glock won't get him, so he's P9. Cliffy losing the championship lead, but he does go to P8. But Max Aluka 9th, Glock 10th, Lorman's 11th. Championship favourite, Will Murdoch. Has he got a puncture, or has he just really worn the tyres out? I think he's just really worn it. I think he sees me on. Hello, Will. Feel free to do some donuts. You're not going to get overtaken by anyone anymore. Well, he said he had no excuses, and, well, I'd love to know what his excuses for this. Even though he probably had a good excuse for being taken out on lap 1, but still. Oh, Mark. Gaming Alamonda. Are you... That has to be it. Oh, dear. We hadn't done any bad jokes all day. And here he comes. Rip. And, well, Mark actually could be putting himself in the fight finish championship now. I think Jay Frotcher still has the lead. Although he may not. He may not. I'll need to look into that. It's either going to be Mark Espy or it's going to be Jay Frotcher in the lead this championship. I don't think it's going to be Cliffy. Yeah. There's your podium. Bad day for Cliffy again. Unfortunately for him. But here's the finishing order. Mark Espy from Jay Frotcher, Samster, that laggy person, Tom, Skiban, Lewis, Cliffy, Max Luca, Glock, Lormans, Will, and then your retirements, Praga, CC Brain, Jay Fletcher, TTG Jack, Jack Lacey, and Greeny LFC. And I've been your commentator, Owen White. And do you know what you can do now? You can leave. You can go and watch F1. Because you're not going to have missed anything. You'll go and see that they're still qualifying. And that's the way it should be. And we got 14 people still here, so thank you. And safe travels and enjoy